With that said, we're going right into fantasy football. Phil, hit it.
Oh, shit.
Regular.
Testing Phil nice and early. All right, guys. We promised you this. Quarterback rankings. Top 10. 2021 season. Let's go right into it. I am going to pass it to you first, Nick.
Okay.
I want to hear your list. I think that we should go through it we'll do each of our lists first, and then we can talk reasoning afterwards. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Everybody like it?
Yeah, let's go.
Listen up, audience.
All right, so starting with number 10, I got Lamar Jackson. Probably a surprise to a lot of the audience. 9, I have Justin Herbert. 8, Ryan Tannehill. 7, TB12. 6, Russell Wilson. 5, this is going to shock some people, Dak Prescott. 4, Aaron Rodgers. 3, Kyler Murray. 2, Josh Allen. And number 1, Patrick Mahomes.
I just want to say one thing
Bottom
before I
line.
pass it to Mike. You should have seen the excitement when you said Dak. Just lit up. His face lit up.
Oh, I know.
I think he's a Cowboys fan
A
now.
little bit.
I think he is.
I got my reasonings.
Growth.
So
But no, actually, it wasn't too much of a surprise. ESPN's got him an average 4
Really?
overall. Yeah. But besides the point, let me hand it to you first, Mike.
All right. At number 10, I have Ryan Tannehill. I'm actually surprised you had him in there. Mm-hmm. But number 9, I have Dak. Number 8, I have Justin Herbert. 7, I have Russ. 6, I have Lamar Jackson. 5, I have Tom Brady, the GOAT. Number 4, I have Kyler Murray. Number 3, I have Aaron Rodgers. Number 2, I have Josh Allen. And number 1, I have Patrick Mahomes.
Wow.
so we agreed on Mahomes being number 1.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
You're smart, guys. That's all. That's all it is. You're smart guys.
I agree. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
Mike, you had Dak pretty low for being his biggest fan.
I actually, in my reasoning here,
I was surprised by that, too. I'm not going to lie. I'm not
No.
going to lie. I was surprised. Number 9?
Yeah.
Yo, Pop
He
says...
could be too low. He could be too low, but
Pop says... Papa Pasillo. Dak Prescott? You're nuts. You're nuts.
I'm a
Amen,
little crazy.
Pops. You're gonna
Psychotic and iconic.
Oh, wait. He's going to love my rankings. All right. I'm going right into it. Number 10. Sorry, Mike. Jalen Hurts. Listen up. 10, Jalen Hurts. 9, Ryan Tannehill. And he was a late addition, by the way. 8, Tom Brady, the GOAT. 7, Justin Herbert. 6, and this was maybe a late flip, by the way, Aaron Rodgers at 6. Lamar Jackson at 5. Russell Wilson at 4. Kyler Murray at 3. Josh Allen 2. Patrick Mahomes, the best player in the NFL, number 1.
Please stop over there.
The obvious.
Please stop. He's not the best player in the NFL.
And now we got to break it down. I'm not even going to.
Goat.
I'm not listening to you.
The GOAT.
He might be the best ever, Nick, but he's not the best in the NFL right now.
We'll see. 8's coming.
So where do we want to start? I think that you guys... Whoa, did you notice one thing? I'm going to point out one thing on my list that maybe you didn't catch. I did not have Dak Prescott in my top 10.
yeah, it shot out.
Well, you had him 8. I was surprised. I thought
9.
for real you were... Oh, 9?
9.
I thought for real you'd have him 3. I swear to God.
I had him 5. But I have a reason.
On average, he's going about 4. Okay? My reason is this. Health is wealth, guys. And my rankings can always change in a few weeks. Right now, I am a little nervous about the shoulder. And if he's going to miss games, he's not going to finish in the top 10. Simple as that. And otherwise, like, if he was healthy, it would be different. I'd have him around the probably 6 or 7 range. I feel like that would be a comfortable spot for him. Same reason why I didn't put, like, Carson Wentz 10th, which I thought of prior to the injury, but we don't know if he's going to be back week 1. So this list could change. We'll see. Like, maybe if we hear some updates in a few weeks, we can tweak it a little bit, you know? But for now, if you're missing time, you're going to have a hard time catching up to guys that will play or guys that get the rushing stats. So there's that. Fair?
Fair. So I had Lamar Jackson 10th, and here's my reason. who the fuck is he throwing the ball to? Who's he throwing the ball to? Mark Andrews? Cool. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm doubling the tight end and I'm stacking the box and saying, good luck, sir. Who you going to throw to? Who you going to throw to? Marquise Brown's hurt.
And Rashad
Bateman.
Yeah, he's hurt. So who's he got? Sammy Watkins? Give me a fucking break.
Shout out Mark. Shout out Mark.
Give me a break here. Okay, so last year he finished 10th overall, right? He had 1,000 yards rushing with 7 rushing touchdowns, and his passing yards was 2,726 TDs.
Which was a big drop-off, by the way.
Sure. So without these weapons, where is his production coming from? The run? I mean, 1,000 yards for a quarterback is a lot. So I don't know where he's going to be in the top 5. I don't see that.
I'm going to start off with my one. I know everybody's so shocked that I had him low.
Mike, hold that thought while we're still on Lamar.
Okay, go ahead.
And do you want to add anything on Lamar real quick?
No, I mean, to me, he's just the identity of the Ravens, and they go as he goes. I mean, I still think he's like that typical fear striker that when you play him in fantasy, you know that he could single-handedly win the game for you. That's why I have him at number 6. I know he finished 10 last year. I have that noted down as well. But great point, though, that he brought up is like, who is he throwing to besides Sammy Watkins at this point? But I mean, it's Lamar Jackson, and to me, he's a fantasy player. Like he's like a Michael Vick type of fantasy player. He finds points. He finds points.
I don't disagree with that.
Look, my thought is this: it can't get any worse than last year, and he finished. You said 10th, right?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so 10th. He finished 10th, and it can't get any worse. He definitely declined last year. He kind of found his way a little bit towards the end of the season, but he had a rough year overall, and he still finished 10th. Still had 1,000 yards rushing. Still had 7 rushing touchdowns. That shit matters. That's 6 points versus 4. Standard scoring, right?
Well, that's great. But if teams stack the box and double your tight end, what are you going to do?
Well, I think Marquise Brown will be back. I don't think Rashad Bateman will be back until the end of September, which is a big loss. That's not being talked about enough, probably.
But again, I mean, Marquise Brown is middle pack wide receiver. He's not.
I don't even know if I'm willing to say
weapon.
that. I think the whole team just experienced a drop off, and the offense needs to adjust. I think they will this year. I expect more passing volume, not MVP level for him, but like 3,000 yards minimum. He's at 2,700 last year. I mean, come on. Like, I think that he'll definitely experience a boost. He probably should be better this year. So that's why, like, I expect him to be a little bit higher.
Also, they lost Orlando Brown to a trade with the Chiefs. So
this is also true, and that could be a difference maker.
Absolutely, I think so.
One of the best tackles in the league. So, but just wanted to, point out that that it can't get any worse, and he was top 10 last year.
Right.
So he's got to be in the top 10. That's one thing.
Right.
It looks like all 3 of us know that. But Mike, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No big deal. So my thing with Dak is it was like you were saying, health is wealth. I don't know what's going on with his shoulder. I mean, I think he's going to be fine. And then the comment he made that he doesn't want to throw for 6,000 yards. He's looking for a more balanced attack. I probably do have him too low on the list, but I mean, we were just laughing about that right before the show. Like 6 through 10 were more difficult than 1 through 5 for me. But I don't know with him. I'm not there yet.
I completely agree with you there. I mean, how could you not be concerned? He's not throwing. Like, he did throw the other day, but, I still don't think that we're in the clear there.
And
I really
Shannon
don't.
Sharp's,
They're limiting his reps.
Yeah, and Shannon Sharp said it perfect. He was like, you don't just get an MRI for no reason. Like, oh, my arm feels great, but let me just get an MRI to make sure everything's okay.
And my thought process kind of aligns against what he's saying. Like, sorry, Dak. What did I say to you guys last week? I think they're going to be throwing the hell out of the ball. It's Mike McCarthy, and I still don't think the defense did enough to upgrade.
Do you know where Dak
throwing
finished?
A lot.
Do you know where Dak finished in 2019?
Probably top 5.
Second.
So there you go. But that's the thing is, like, no one is questioning that he can or can't do it. I already said to you, if he was fully healthy and I could trust him to not miss any time right now, I'd have him probably around 6 or 7. So make no mistake, like, I'm not throwing shade because the Cowboys are the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. No bias here, no bias. But I really am concerned about that. And I said to you guys last week, they're going to be throwing a ton. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Like, that was their identity last year under the same head coach. He loves chucking the ball.
Well, and I agree. I mean,
know?
they have 3 star wide receivers in Cooper, Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb. So they're going to utilize them.
So it may not be 6,000-yard pace, but if you're expecting Dak to come away with 30 attempts a game, that's just kind of foolish, I think. I don't think that's going to happen at all. He's going to probably be higher than that on average. I mean, if he's throwing 50 times a game, per se, and they're playing from behind, what's going to happen to his shoulder? Now, that's in live action. That's not little warm-up throws on the sideline or that bullshit before a game, you know? If his arm's uncomfortable now, imagine when he's making throws in games and getting hit.
But teams aren't going to be able to stack the box. They have they have 3 great wide receivers. They have a running game. They're going to have to respect, the outside.
Do you think Tyron Smith's going to be healthy at left tackle all year? Because I don't. He hasn't been for 5 straight years.
Well, we'll see. But my thing is, he can scramble. He has the ability to get outside the pocket and make some plays with his feet. So I think he can get some rushing yards and some possible touchdowns.
Well, sure. I mean, no discounting that either. It's just simply the fact that he's going to be getting hit and having to throw the ball. Not 15 throws during a game, before a game.
I just think his situation versus Lamar Jackson is just a little bit different for me, because they actually have weapons where the Ravens are mediocre.
Yeah, now it's a little. I thought the Ravens would be better there this year, but now the Bateman thing kind of throws me for a loop. So,
yeah. And he was a rookie anyway, so how much impact would he have had anyway?
I like him a lot. I think he's going to be a good
I
player.
do too, but he's still a rookie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is he an EK Metcalf type?
Especially missing time, now I would be even more concerned because we don't know how quick he's going to transition.
Right.
So
I agree.
mean, that could be a problem. But Ryan Tannehill, guys. So all 3 of us had him in there. I did not have him in my top 10 before tonight. I literally changed that in the last few hours. So,
I was between Tannehill and Stafford at number 10. I feel like he's getting overlooked a little bit. Well, a lot, to be honest.
It's funny you say that, Mike. So Papa Pasillo, again, was just like, what about Matthew Stafford? I'm glad you just said that because
Dak is garbage, he said.
Damn, I got to check this.
Because I'm glad he said that because Stafford was like originally in my top 10 and I moved him for Tannehill. But continue what you were saying.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a really strong season with Julio and AJ now, and then Derrick Henry in the backfield. He has weapons all over the field, and it's going to be really hard to double team those guys. So to me, I think he's going to be able to throw to guys that are in single coverage that can go up and get the ball. So I really do think he's going to have a good season.
You're missing somebody though. Ferkser.
I was gonna. I know. My bad. You paused me for a minute. I'm like, who? And then I got you. But yeah, no, I look for him to have a really big season. Bearing any injuries or anything like that. But I think they're going to be bombs away.
They're just stacked everywhere, and he gets some rushing production, which matters. I mean, I'm pretty sure he had 7 touchdowns on the ground. One sec. Yeah, he did. He had 7 touchdowns on the ground. I expect that to come down a little bit. Because he took a few from Derrick Henry last year in crucial games. I was kind of pissed off, but because I had Derrick Henry in one league. But yeah, I mean, 33 touchdowns last season, 3,800 yards.
Thank you.
I expect an uptick there because this offense should be lethal. 3,800 yards? Like that seems kind of low. I think he'll be over 4,000 this year.
Well, A.J. Brown missed some time last year too.
And he missed some time, right? So and then you get Julio in addition to that. So the efficiencies would be like top notch.
They're gonna be really good.
And 9 might not be enough. Like I had him at 9. I don't know if that was enough. I almost put him over Tom Brady, but I was just like, I'll leave it alone because I think the Bucs are gonna throw the ball a ton.
I would have walked out.
The disrespect.
Well, I mean, you like Tannehill.
So wait, I noticed that you had Herbert over Brady.
I did.
Explain.
Sure. Well, here, last year, Brady finished with 5 more points than Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert had 15 less throws on a worse team full of injuries with a shit offensive line, right? Yeah, you drink your drink. 5 points we're talking about, Nick. 5. Justin Herbert revolutionized. I mean, he was just fantastic. Another guy who gets production on the ground. 5 touchdowns, 234 yards. You can't ignore it. And they're a lot better. I mean, we're going to talk about the Chargers in a little bit, but their offensive line is much improved. and they're healthy again. So give me one reason why I shouldn't think that.
You ever hear of the?
That was as a rookie.
You ever hear of the sophomore slump? Teams have film on him now.
You either
We're
got
gonna
it or
see.
you don't. That's what I think,
he's very good. He's very talented. I'm not
That
taking
wasn't a
I'm
gimmicky
not-
offense by any means. And guess what? It's a new offense. Anthony Lynn's gone. It's a new offense. So actually, the whole film thing goes out the window for me because you don't know what they're going to give you.
We'll see.
Right?
But
Did you think of that?
Brady's second year with the Bucks, the same
Hey,
offense.
I had him in there.
I see fireworks.
I had him in there.
Fireworks
Hey,
is going to explode.
Mike's got him
Fire
top
the
5.
fucking cannons. It's coming, guys.
Mike's got him top 5. Mike's the only one who's got him top 5 here.
Top 5, no doubt. He's on the best offensive in the league. They're healthy. AB is back. I'm enamored with him this year.
I
know
hope
he
you're
finished.
right.
I know he finished 8th last year, but I mean, I think he's going to be unbelievable this season. I really do. I'm telling you.
It's just his rushing is just what kills his overall fantasy stock. That's it. That's it.
He wants to get faster.
Quick thing, guys. Brian Dietz comments, the Chargers don't have a tight end. Dietz, they added Jared Cook this year. He should be enough as a receiving threat and a red zone option. So, fair point, though. Hunter Henry was very good, but also he missed a lot of time. So,
They're always hurt.
Well, Jared Cook needs to hold on to the football.
for sure. I mean, he's had the same issues he's had since coming into the league, but at least like now he can get open, whereas opposed he was just like relying on his athletic ability, and he's a little more polished now. He can play
You know who I like on the Chargers? Mike Williams.
if he can stay healthy. He let practice again.
Yeah. He's got big playability.
It's a shame. It's the same story every year. I mean, Keenan Allen is probably a top 5 receiver in the league. May not be. I mean, fantasy-wise, he's been up there, even with missing time. But as far as talent goes, he's absolutely in my top 5 without even thinking. He's going to be on the back end of that, but he's the best route runner in football. There's nobody better,
I agree.
right? And he gets the red zone production.
He's awesome.
on those quick slants.
Yeah, he gets about 100 yards,
Always.
100 catches per year.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely love him in fantasy this year, and we'll talk about that too. That's probably 2 weeks away, I would say. But, yeah, so I wanted to touch on that real quick. That was a good point by Dietz. But Brady, though, yeah, I don't see how he doesn't throw damn near 40 touchdowns. I think that he might drop in touchdowns. I said this to you guys last week, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago. I see an uptick in yardage. I don't trust Leonard Fournette for one. I already told you that too. So I think this team, like, they're gonna be full steam ahead.
Super Bowl Lenny.
I don't believe in him.
Super Bowl Lenny, guys.
Listen, and this is another thing. Off the record, I told you guys last week that I was Mr. Dalvin Cook. I said I was a Dalvin Cook preacher during that draft. The Eagles they were targeting him from what I believe. And the Vikings traded ahead of them one pick, and the Eagles got stuck with Sidney Jones. Revisionist history, but I was Dalvin over Fournette and McCaffrey, and I believe that I was correct to this day. McCaffrey definitely has improved, but I say Dalvin's better.
I'm surprised we didn't take a backup quarterback instead.
Got to share the backup.
Yeah, we got to show up the
actually,
backup.
that's a good lead into me having Jalen Hurts at 10. And yes, I was debating that too. Like, I had a bunch of guys that could have gone 10. I can run through them real quick for you guys if you want. But I was considering Stafford at 10. I considered putting Dak there even with the issues he's having right now. Matt Ryan always has volume, but I think he'll have a drop-off this year a little bit. Who else? I mean, here's actually, I want to make one note here. If Justin Fields and Trey Lance play right away, they could sneak in there on the back end too. But that doesn't mean I was considering them. I just want to throw that out there for everybody. But Jalen Hurts, though, I don't want to give away too much here. And I just simply think that he might be underprojected right now with the rushing production. I think he's projected like 600 yards on the ground and maybe 6 or 7 touchdowns. I think he's going to be close to 1,000 yards on the ground.
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
I think so.
Like Lamar Jackson numbers?
No, not Lamar Jackson. I said close to 1,000, so like 800-900 maybe 800 feels safe to me.
I don't know. I feel like 600 is a pretty good number.
Because I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I mean, to me, if you're approaching 1,000, where you're in the 800-900 range, like you're running a lot.
Yeah. You're running for your life.
Yeah, that's a lot of yards.
I'm trying to find what his rushing production was last year. Here, he had in 4 games, and he didn't even start all 4 of them. He had 357 rushing yards on 63 attempts with 3 touchdowns. That's in 4 games. That's a quarter of a season.
Wait, he ran the ball 63 times in 4 games?
Correct.
Well, the Eagles blew last year.
Well, that spells trouble for me because it's like he's more, susceptible to
He's a smaller
injury.
guy in stature.
like I feel like he could be like,
He's compacto.
yeah.
My thought is he's not going to have the same.
Like I feel like he's going to
carry
open himself
volume.
up to injury.
Right. Well, I don't think he's going to have the same carry volume, but I think that I'm not so sure how developed he is as a passer yet. To be determined. I still think that he's the guy where he'll tuck and run after the first read. That's one thing I'm looking out for this year. If he can advance in the reads and progressions of the game, look out, because the production was there. Like the Arizona game, that was all around great, passing and rushing. If we see a lot of that during the season, I mean, he finished as a top 5 option in the last 4 weeks of the season. So to me, it's not even just like, I'm not saying he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. He's definitely not. But fantasy production, you can't ignore what he did in 3.5 games, essentially.
It's also a different system, though.
And that's after teams made adjustments to him, and he failed as a passer in the last 2 games. I did not like what I saw in those games, and he still finished as a top 5 fantasy option in those weeks. So to me, it's like a stat thing. I'm a stat guy. I saw the numbers, and if he can translate that over a full 17 game slate, that's the other thing. There's 17 games this year. I mean, if he manages to stay healthy with that rushing volume and just a slight uptick as a passer, how could he not be in the top 10? He will be higher than that.
We'll find out.
So, I mean, and I know I'm not the only one.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Right?
I mean, I can't argue with you on last year's production, but you got to understand, too, it's a new system.
Which could be a good thing.
Could be.
I think it's going to be
but it could be a bad thing.
I think it's going to be a more quarterback-friendly system because they are going to run the ball a lot more this year. I can promise you that right now. I think Miles Sanders is going to have a huge year. But the offensive line's healthy, too. This is with a shit offensive line. He put up top 5 fantasy numbers.
And thank heavens, Jason Peters is gone.
Jason Peters just signed with the Chicago Bears.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He just committed a false start.
Yeah, seriously. When he signed his contract.
You know, it's a shame. Like, everyone is going to revisit, like, what he was recently for us and forget that he was maybe the best trade that the Eagles ever made in the history of their franchise. So I'm not gonna tolerate the disrespect. We know he's at the end of the line and he's collecting a paycheck, but he's still better than most.
My Uncle Steve commented, Tom Brady has 1,043 rushing yards for his whole career.
And 7 rings.
And 7 rings is right. 8 is loading.
Unbelievable.
That's his favorite one. Dude, what the fuck?
You weren't kidding. That's a new one.
Shout out Uncle Steve. Appreciate it.
Wait, I just caught up on one comment. I see Andrew John, I believe, says, Wentz wagon out there on the Oregon Trail. I guess he doesn't think he's coming back for week 1. But funny comment.
That's your boy, Wentz.
You'll see.
If Wentz comes back for week 1, he's a dark horse for a top 10 finish. For now, I can't do that. He's a dark horse MVP candidate if he plays a full season.
He's a dark horse to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. How about that?
I'm not going to argue that this week. I can't.
A bomb line, that shit.
I hope his foot is good. I want that first rounder, okay?
No comment.
That first rounder, literally, if we don't get it, oh, you don't want to see me. You don't. What else stood out to you guys, though? Anything else? We're about 25 minutes in. Fans, P&I fans, if you got any questions, throw it our way before we move on.
Yeah, shoot them on over.
No crickets, all right?
Let's move on. If they come in, they come in.
I mean, you guys got nothing else to add?
Any fantasy questions, we'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, especially Tyler. I know you're not that good at fantasy. We're all available to give you some education.
I want to point out another thing, actually. Now, it just caught my eye. Kyler Murray despite being pretty ineffective towards the end of the year, finished third last year in fantasy points. He had 11 rushing touchdowns to lead the NFL. And his receiving core got better. He did get A.J. Green. Even if it's the corpse of A.J. Green, he can still play when he's on the field. And from what I heard, he's healthy. So you got that extra weapon, and I expect further development from him. He was about 30 yards short of 4,000 yards passing. So I think he should be better too. Like, I think this is a guy who could challenge number one if he is effective all year. Well, but I shouldn't even say that. I think Mahomes is just clearly in his own tier.
Well, my thing with him is his division's very tough. When you have the Rams, Chargers, and Chiefs in your division, like, he finished second last year, so I have him a notch below just because of the divisional factor.
But that could transfer to more passing yards too.
It could if they play catch up. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So
garbage time. We love that in fantasy.
Right.
We love it.
Right. We'll see.
But the other thing, I guess, I'll just throw this out there. It's highly unlikely that Deshaun Watson plays. Highly unlikely. I don't think it's going to play out favorably for him.
I don't think he'll ever play again.
I'm not going to go that far right now, but I just know, like, you know, sometimes in previous history with the league, they let guys play while their legal situation was sorted out. I don't think it's going that direction. I think he'll be on the commissioner exempt list pretty soon, regardless of outcome. But if he did, let's just say, like, craziest scenario, he does wind up playing this year. He should wind up being in the top 10. But again, he's lost some weapons. Houston sucks. So he'd be at the back of the top 10 for me.
He'll be on the longest yard too.
He was fifth last year in fantasy points. He might be. He might be playing for the prison team.
Yeah, he's playing the guards.
Next, Adam Sandler, I guess. I'm looking at the comments one more time. Here we go. Papa Pasillo. Man, he's on fire. I love him. Do you see Trevor Lawrence sneaking into the top 10? I'll give you my answer. No. I'm not so sure how I feel about him as a player. He did look pretty good in the preseason game. I don't think they have enough there. And I think he's going to have some growing pains this year, personally. I'm not so sure he's the best in the class right now either. I'm not. But he is going to play right away. So.
Yeah, I'm not. He's not my top 10.